They gaslighted. They gaslighted. They gaslighted your history because when they can gaslight your history, they can control your future. It goes in there. But the spell, have you noticed? The spell is broken. The spell is broken. You're not a victim. You're not primitive. You're from one of the most advanced cultures that has ever been created. Your ancestors were warriors, poets, craftsmen, and speakers and storytellers, the greatest storytellers on the planet. Your ancestors were requested all over Europe and all over the world, from Egypt to Spain to England. Your ancestors were very important people. They were connected directly to the giant warriors, the Tuatha Dé Danann. The spell is breaking. The spell is breaking. And you are writing the next chapter. Not the dark magicians. You are writing your next chapter. So what is gaslighting? I don't think I have to explain what gaslighting is. I think we've all had a gaslighting masterclass in the last few years. We have it in relationships where your pain is minimized, where what you've been through is minimized, where you say something happened, you're like, no, it didn't happen like that. You don't remember it correctly. Making you second guess your own experience. That's gaslighting. No, I experienced this. I've noticed this happened to my friends, or this happened to me, or whatever. Like, no. That's not what happened. I think there's a lot of people today questioning their own experience. I've just been through this thing. But the mainstream media doesn't agree with me. So, am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. No, you're not. You're not. You're being gaslighted. So we all know what gaslighting is today, because we've heard about it in this relationship and that relationship and the other relationship. We all know what it is. And it came from an old movie where blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go through it. You search up the movie gaslighting was in. And it's a real phenomenon. It does happen in relationships, but it also happens at a cultural level. It happens to whole cultures. It happens also at a cultural level. There is a myth. There is a myth out there that the Gael was primitive. And we know it's not true. We've seen the standing stones. We have, through great people like Kevin from the Brehon Academy, from Bertie Bronson, we've seen the history. That the history was advanced, hugely advanced. The Brehon legal system, the culture, the education system, hugely advanced. Gaelic people were sought all over the world, all over the known world at the time. America wasn't here, but Rome, Spain, England, all the powers. But also later on, when the culture was being destroyed, a lot of the colonial powers, a lot of the empires gaslighted us the myth that a Gael was primitive in order to suppress and destroy the culture. But they didn't only suppress and destroy the culture, they also stole the culture. They took our spiritual connection to the other world. They took our Brehon system for themselves, and they took our education system, our experiential Gaelic education system. where we learned to retell stories, where we learned to write, where we learned to paint, where we learned to draw triskeles. They took it. They might have brought it on a little bit further, but they certainly took the Gaelic system. They didn't give it to the English people or the Spanish people or the Italian people in Rome. They kept it within elite schools because that's how advanced it was. They didn't want normal people getting it. A normal English person was never going to get anywhere near it, but they left it in elite schools where the royals went. They erased the Tuatha De Danann. They got rid of the Tuatha De Danann. They told us they were fairy tales and myths. The truth is, they were a spiritual connection. They were truth. They were a spiritual connection we had that no one else understood, that the Gael couldn't explain to someone else. It was spiritual connection to the land, spiritual connection to the other world. It was power. It was taking the power of the goddess Eru inside us. It was sitting under the sun. It was meditating. It was letting the thoughts go. It was being able to walk and being in the moment and seeing the magic of a tree or even the magic of a leaf. Being in that moment where you let all the thoughts go and you walk down your road. You see the magic. You see a little squirrel running along. One of them is that are scared of you, but not too scared that'll run away. Being able to watch him and seeing the magic. Obviously the biggest gaslight. The biggest gaslight. Two things. The famine. There was an act of God famine in Ireland. Irish people, Gaelic people just loved potatoes. They just loved potatoes. They're just crazy about potatoes. They're like, if I can't have potatoes, I'm not going to eat. All my family will die if we can't have potatoes. That is the gaslight of Irish history. And people say, why didn't they just eat something else? Those crazy Irish, they just loved their potatoes. Yeah. Bertie Brosnan and lots of other people do great pieces on this. You know, why didn't we eat fish? Why didn't we eat our meat? Well, all of our meat was exported out of the country. All of our grain was exported out of the country at gunpoint. We had more food than we could possibly eat. We were producing more food than we could possibly eat. All the fishermen had to go to pawn shops and sell their equipment, which wasn't the best long-term strategy, but they didn't know how bad it was going to get. And it's complete gaslighting. Oh, there was just a famine. It was never a famine. It was clearly a genocide. And the Troubles, the other huge gaslight, the Troubles. The Civil War, where people were killed. There was people protesting on the street and they were shot down by British Army. There was people trying to watch a Gaelic football match. The British Army marched into the stands and started shooting people. This isn't true. This isn't a little bit of trouble. It isn't a little bit of trouble. It's a huge civil war, but also not just a civil war. It was the bullfighter technique where they were trying to pit people against each other and create a civil war. And the people just had to noticed that, no, these people aren't my enemy. It would have never happened. But you know, when people were being blown up or people were being shot, they didn't think it was a little bit of trouble. There was absolute gaslighting. The Troubles. The Troubles. It was a little bit of trouble. It wasn't a little bit of trouble. It was a soul-destroying civil war that destroyed economies and destroyed people's lives. And of course was the penal laws. There's penal laws that were put into Ireland to destroy the incredible education system, to destroy the culture, to destroy the religion. It was Catholic at the time, but we still held in our souls the connection to the Gaelic gods. And there's penal laws. And the point of the penal laws was to make Gaelic culture look inferior, to get into our head. We believed it. It went so far as we believed it. That's what gaslighting does. It makes you believe it. When the truth is, you came from the most advanced culture that there has ever been on this earth. Absolute kings, and not kings like the British kings, like the British monarch. Kings that cared about the people, that would look after people and didn't. Kept with Brehon law, which wasn't about punishment. It was just about restoring. If you caused an issue, you restored that issue. That's all. And of course, there was the flight of the Earls. There was a flight of the Earls where the leaders, the Gaelic leaders in Ireland, were promised, just leave, come to Spain, come to Italy, we will provide you with support. But then the support was never there. It was just creating a leadership vacuum. It was just to create a leadership vacuum in the Gaelic lands that could be filled with monarchy. They wanted to destroy the leadership of Ireland. Flight of the Earls, not talked about. Gaslighting again. It was just about creating a leadership vacuum that could be filled with outside foreign forces. And of course, the greatest gaslight of all, Chucky Law. Chucky Law is the greatest gaslight of all. Your day is tomorrow. Your day is not today. It's tomorrow. Your day will never come. That's the greatest gaslight of all. So what do we do? Well, and the modern gaslighting of Gaelic people are evil. Gaelic people are bad. No. No. They're the nicest, friendliest, most advanced people on the earth. They will help anyone. They will help anyone. If you are on the street and you're being attacked, you better hope a Gaelic person is around, because he'll protect you. We are the nicest, friendliest, best people. And yes, there's bad in every culture. There's no culture that doesn't have bad. But the Gaelic people have an innate sense of fairness from the Brown law that is always in their heart. Always in their heart. So how do we end it? How do we end the gaslighting? Just remember who you are. Remember you are incredible. The blood that runs through your veins is the blood of kings, or the blood of warriors, the blood of poets. It's the blood of storytellers. Remember the Brehon law. Remember the fosterage system. Remember that you are a natural entrepreneur. You are the person who can go out there and create incredible things in this world. Incredible things. Break the spell. The spell's over. I want you to take that spell, pull it out of your head, and just throw it away. The spell is gone. The spell is gone. All you have to do is realize the spell is gone. And it changes your whole world. Just speak the truth. Speak the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how scared you are. I'm scared. I'm scared all the time. Speak the truth. No matter how uncomfortable it is. Even if the whole room goes silent, you should speak the truth anyway. And remember who you are. And retell our stories. Retell the Gaelic stories. Remember, learn the Gaelic stories. Retell the Gaelic stories from a place of pride, from a place of honour, from a place of understanding your culture is the most advanced. And yes, we have gone through genocides, we've gone through plantations, we've gone through incredibly difficult times, but we're coming out of that now. Retell the stories from a place of pride. You are Gaelic. Break the spell.